Part 2, Guitar Tablature or Guitar Tabs for short. I'm going to do one more split for this topic into a Part A and a Part B. In this Part A, we'll talk about what tablature is, compare it to traditionally written music, and see a demonstration of how to play. Then we'll address what is usually considered the biggest point of confusion with tabs, especially for beginners. And in Part B, I'll expand on the idea of why that confusion exists and how that influences musical literature today regarding how guitar chords and melodies are presented. Now, before we begin, I want to remind you to get the most out of this video, and in general any video tutorial on this channel, you want to have a guitar in your hand. I should have mentioned that at the beginning of the prior video, but I'd forgotten. The reason being is that otherwise, if you don't, the information becomes very theoretical and it's much more difficult to understand the practical application of the information, especially for more complex topics like this one. So pause the video, go grab your guitar, and I will be happy to wait for you. I'll jam a little something in the meantime while I wait for you. Oh, you're back already? Nice. Alright, let's go then. Tabs are an awesome practical way of representing songs on the guitar in a simplified and easier way than they would be using standard musical notation. Let's look at this diagram comparing both of them. Standard notation on top and tabs below. You can see that with standard notation, there are no numbers or letters to help you. You have to learn the names of the notes of each of those lines and even each of those spaces, and then know where those notes are on your instrument. It's doable, but definitely more effort, more learning, more time consuming. By comparison, the tabs below, if you look at them, those just simply work with the general idea of take a finger, any finger, and put it on this fret and that string, and you're done. Let's take a look at how that works in a bit more detail now. So here again, we have horizontal lines and numbers. Now, tabs usually don't have those numbers in red. I put that here just to make this demonstration a little easier to address that immediate point of confusion I was talking about earlier that beginners have, especially when they're seeing tabs for the first time. If you look at the guitar on the screen or look down at yours, you can see the first E treble string is at the lower part or the bottom of the neck, right? But in the diagram, it's on top. And the bass E string at the upper or top part of the neck is on the bottom. This image is upside down relative to how you are holding the guitar in your hand when you're playing it, assuming you're holding it correctly, like this. And this confusing representation exists on every tablature website, book, video, and even when you make tablature and tablature software, the default is for it to be presented in this upside down fashion. So we're going to address in the next video why that is. Okay, but before we get there, let's look at how we can actually still use this, because it still is useful. So we look at the positive aspect first before we get upset about this about this upside down business. Okay, so let's look at it. The numbers on the lines this time represent the actual fret and not which finger to use. Tabs don't tell us that. So for this demo, we'll just use our first finger. So let's start with the 3 that's on the actual horizontal line representing the string. So 3 we can see is on, means the 3rd fret, right? 1, 2, 3. So we know we're on the 3rd fret, and then we can see that it's the 5th string. So your note is Yeah, 3rd fret, 5th string. Got the idea? So what's the next one? 2, so that's 2nd fret, and it looks like it's 1 string down, so 4th string. Now you see where the confusion is, right? I'm saying it's 1 string down on the guitar, but on the diagram it's 1 string up. This is what I meant by it being upside down, and this is where the confusion comes in. We'll talk about it more in the next video. Okay, the next string down on the guitar but up on the diagram, right, is G. Now that 0 means we're playing the string open. You're not putting your fingers anywhere here on the fretboard, you're just playing the note open. Okay, next one. 1 means gonna be the 1st fret, and we can see it's the B string, it's the 2nd string, and then the last note is 0 again, which is open, just open, no hand on any specific note, and those are the notes. So yeah, and that's what the tablature represents. Each of those numbers represent the note being played individually. Now what about that sequence of numbers that is just a straight vertical line? That vertical column means all the notes are played at the same time. But how do you figure out which fingers to use? Tabs don't tell you. You kind of have to figure it out on your own. This is where video tutorials or having a teacher can help. So let's look at it again. In this case, I would recommend that we use the 3rd finger to go on the, again, it's 3 there, so that's the 3rd fret, 5th string. So I'm going to use my 3rd finger. The next note again is 2, that's the 2nd fret, 1 string down, 4th string. The next note is open, so I'm just gonna, it's just being played open, I don't have to put anything anywhere. Then the next note is on the, that 1 is, now remember, that 1 doesn't mean my 1st finger, I'm just happen to be using my 1st finger. That 1 means it's on the 1st fret, okay? And that's the 2nd string. And then that last note, the E0, is open. So does this shape look familiar at all to you? If you came from the previous video, then you recognize what this is, right? This is actually the C major chord. This is a tab representation of the C chord, which we learned in the previous video. Now, if you remember, the diagram we used in the previous video was actually in the opposite direction, right side up, with the 6th string being represented on top. Whereas in this image, the 6th string is on the bottom. That's not cool, right? Right? Now, believe it or not, some people say when they look down at their guitar from above, they actually see the strings in this type of upside down display in the diagram, in the tab image. The funny thing is, to them, it's not upside down, or at least so I've heard some people make the claim. So we're going to take a closer look in the next video at how that could be possible, because I know you're thinking to yourself, you're looking down at your guitar and thinking, okay, the bass string is here on top, so how can anyone tell you that they're seeing the bass string on the bottom? Yeah, we'll talk about it in the next video. I know. Yeah, it's a touchy, it's a weird topic, okay? If this information was helpful for you, you can help the channel and me to keep making content like this for you by jamming a like, leaving a comment below if you're just passing through. If you learn something helpful about tablature here, you can support by jamming a like and a subscribe. We're moving forward ever, backward never. Blessings and respect. I'll see you in the next video. We talk about the upside down business. Soca for the outro, yeah. Watch it. See the C chord? C chord in action there. Hey, yo, yeah. If you see me whine and waving in the band, oh oh. If you see me tripping about a beating iron, yeah. Don't vex with me, boss, please try and understand that it is not me, oh no. Blame it on the music, oh. Up a little bass note, and you see, that's a variation of C. We'll talk about that when we come in more to the chord library playlist, and I'm showing you the chords, and I'll show you how to play those little small variations that can exist sometimes in chords, just to give it a nice little fuller flavor, a little more body. Alright, I'll see you in the next video. Blessings and respect. Wait, I messed that up. Blessings and respect. I'll see you in the next video. Alright. Alright.